Getting the phone set up. Hey, we're live again. Good morning, artists. Happy Friday. We're back at it again. I need a better light happening here. Let's see. I didn't like how dark that was. Nope, doesn't help at all. That's all right. I was hoping to see if I could get some better light going, but that's all right. So my students made through our first week. No school. Hope everybody's still healthy, doing well. We're gonna keep working on our picture here. Try to finish it up today. We did pretty good last time. Looks like it's time for bricks. Bricks. So let's get a good spot. Let's go right along this wall. Good morning, Nazar. Glad you made it back again. Are you hanging in there? Family still safe? Everybody healthy? Look at that one right there. So we're hopefully going to finish this up today, and then I got a request from Ollie in 5th grade wanting to see some comic stuff. So I did bring my little comic series home with me. So maybe we'll pull that out and work on that a little bit once this is done. Hope you guys get a chance to, especially if you're in Michigan, get outside for today. It's so nice right now. And tomorrow it's going to get cold again, because it's Michigan. And then it's supposed to warm back up again. Got all our windows open, trying to get some fresh air. I'm totally forgetting this end of the hallway. Backtrack. There you go. So much tiny detail in this one. I actually really enjoy doing bricks on walls because it's, again, we kind of talked about it yesterday with perspective, that it's really easy once you get the hang of it to just have everything aiming towards that single point. And adding bricks to things just ends up making everything look like super detailed. Just makes the whole thing feel nice. Let's get these bricks now. This is where our doorways really kind of show off. Is when you get to add this part. I forget where I got this tiny ruler. I think it was my grandfather's. He did some drafting work. Alright, now I need the big one though. So continue on the far side. Watch out here, little buddy. I don't think you guys can see him too well in this light. This is our friend for today. So we can get him in the light better. Yeah. This is a little sculpture I did. His name is Dracob. It's based on a character named Jacob from a comic my sister and her good friend do. And he was described at one point as being like a little dragon. So I had to create a little statue version because it was just too cute not to do. Just see what kind of clay I've got downstairs. Maybe we'll do a little sculpting project next week. Did have the thought at one point, with all this news about, people hoarding the toilet paper and stuff, thought it might be fun to see what kind of things you can just make with toilet paper rolls. Maybe we'll do like a little, how to build a castle out of toilet paper rolls. Now that we have all of these toilet paper rolls, what can we do with them? It's kind of crazy because we're thinking that, there's still going to be, we're off school for another 2 weeks at least. I'm assuming we're still going to have spring break. We're not sure yet. I'm assuming. I don't think that's something that they can cancel. Probably shouldn't anyway. But depending on the state of our situation, we'll see if we'll be coming back after that for school. Or if everything's going to be just totally online. It might end up being required, you guys, that you're going to have to tune into online lessons. And it seems like we got quite a few people in the class who signed up, which is good. Time for more fun packets. Art packets. It's rough though, and I know that you guys who have already started working on it and have been emailing me your questions, it's so different and difficult trying to be able to help you guys without actually being there. Math or science or any of those things, you can kind of like talk people through how to do the things that they need to do, or, here's the part of your book that you need to read. Here's practice questions, but Art's such a visual thing, you need to see it. That looks pretty good. Alright, now the real fun part. Fun with bricks. Let's just get the whole boom, boom, boom. Oh, the wall's almost too tall. The walls in the hall are totally, totally tall. Let's know the right size. I'm just gonna do this one row to get started. Nice. Thanks, The Real Sharon. I'm glad that you like how it's coming out right now. We're gonna finish up these bricks and then we're gonna get some do some shading. You guys were here yesterday, you know how fun our dog was yesterday. My sister's home today, which is really nice. So she's on dog wrangling duties. I like to say that he's just making sure everybody understands social distancing and they need to stay away from the house. Says, mamas are social distancing, you cannot come here. Oh, you did an aquarium? Oh, that must have been awesome. Although the fish probably were really tough to do. Do you still have it? Do you still have your aquarium drawing? You guys should make sure you save some of this stuff. I will show you once we get a nice pause moment here. I have some of my really old artwork. I thought you guys would get a kick out of seeing. It's back from when I first started doing a lot of anime type stuff. I'm glad I kept it too, because it's a nice reminder, kind of looking back and being like, that's how it was. That's how I used to be. So I strongly encourage you guys, save your stuff, even if you're like embarrassed of it later. You'll eventually get to a point where you're like able to look back at it and just be so amazed by how you've grown and how much you've been able to do since then. There's stuff that I wish I had saved. Now we get smaller and smaller and smaller. Should get a little platform so I can make this a little bit higher for you guys to be able to see it a bit better. but my my setup, such as it is not so great for being able to move too much. But hey, who knows? If this ends up going a lot longer than we expected to, maybe I will just end up getting a web camera. And I'll just become the online Twitch teacher. Twitch teach. All of a sudden, Twitch is no longer just the gaming station. They'll have a teacher section. I should tell them this. Guys, we should tell them this, because then they can get started on it. We can get credit for starting that. Great. Teeny, teeny, tiny little spaces. We've abandoned the ruler because it's too tiny. It's just too hard to see it with the ruler's shadow there. There we go. Not too bad. Alright, let's get the floor. So curious, guys. I've got Amazon Prime, and I got Netflix. What's the other services that we need to start looking into? You guys got Disney Plus? I'm kind of like not so much into getting that just yet, because pretty much all of the old Disney movies that I enjoyed, I already have. I have them on DVD. The real Sharon's got a question about highlights, huh? Are you talking about on this picture, or do you mean on something from the packet? Because we can totally pause and take a look at that if you need to. I mean, the good news is the highlights are pretty easy to do, since they are, it's just pretty much you're leaving an area light. On the packet. All right. Which one? You don't got your real name up here, so are you, is that 6th grade packet? 7th? Which one? I got them all. I got them all here handy. Well, if you're saying you made something in 5th grade, you're definitely not still in the 5th grade, are you? 6th grade. Are you working on the still life stuff? Nice big still life. I'm glad that seemed like it printed out pretty decently. Whew. That was also really nerve-wracking, guys. Was trying to put these packets together and then just hoping that the printer was going to work out. All right. Quick break, talking about still life. So when you're working with any kind of an object, the highlight's always the spot where the light is hitting it. So when you're looking at this kind of picture right here, especially on like the cone here, shadow on the left, light on the right. So the light is up in this direction. And because the side here is lighter than the top, the light's probably down a little bit, which is why this side of the cylinder is so bright and this part is a little bit darker. Your light's probably coming in from down here. So cubes are easy. They're mostly just a solid color on one side. Just use our finger on the top there. And there's a little bit, just barely a little bit of a shadow happening on the side of the cube here, but that's from where the cylinder is coming out. And when you're working with round shapes, it's really important to work on things like blending, because everything kind of goes pretty smoothly. You have a darker area, and then it just kind of gradually will go lighter. I'll say most of the time, everyone's pretty good about highlights, about leaving areas light. Shadows tend to be the next easiest, because it's just a dark spot right underneath your shape. It's the shading that usually catches people off. Let's sneak the cone in. Dark, dark, dark on one side, and then getting a little bit lighter as we go. Just a very little bit of shade. And then you can see the box is leaving a bit of a shadow on the cone. I was trying to find pictures for you guys on this that had simple shapes to start with, and then we're gradually getting a little bit tougher. Unfortunately, when you ask to find simple still life, they tend to not have a whole lot of background, which is something that we talked about so much together those last days that we had class. Man, on Thursday we had that assembly. We didn't even really get class, 6th grade. Holy cow, you guys only had really kind of 2 days of class. Because we had Monday, which was all the, yay, welcome to art. It's the best class ever. And then we had Tuesday off for teachers' head meetings. Wednesday we had class, and we talked about still life. And on Thursday we had that long assembly. Yeah, highlights is basically leaving certain areas of it light. You don't really have to do anything with it. Although, when we get back in class and we're able to start working with charcoal, we're going to kind of be doing the opposite of what we did with the still life here. Is instead of doing all of these drawings on white paper and you're just really coloring the dark spots, we're going to get some black paper and we'll give you guys some white charcoal and stuff, white chalk, and can make that look really cool. And at that point, you are adding light to certain areas to make it brighter. So yeah, the highlight it's a necessary part of doing a still life, but it's the part where you don't really have to do too much with it. Yay! Ta-da! Fast little picture. You get that? That helps out? Awesome. If you get stuck on another part, let me know. If you want one of the specific pictures, we can do that. You can always send me your pictures too, okay? So take a picture and email it to me. And then we can, I can either help out and show you little edits right on the picture itself and send that back to you, or I'll save it for the next time we're streaming, and I can answer it for you right there. Let's get back to our hallway. So we're gonna get the floor in there, and then get a little hint of the tiles. There's just very, very, very faint hint of those tiles of the floor. And then we'll have to get the ceiling. Put in the lights and stuff. Alright. Okay, so our ceiling... No, floor first. Let's do the floor first. Got the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4 big tiles across the bottom. You scoot. You scoot. Alright. Let's try centimeters. Math in our heads, 28. Nope. Okay, so not as helpful as I want it to be. It's roughly 7. Roughly 7 centimeters. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We'll take it. So really light at the top, and then darker toward the bottom. Light at the top, dark toward the bottom. And barely there. Yeah, our view got a little bit different than where it should have been matching up on this one. I think what ended up happening is I didn't place my vanishing point as far to the side as I should have. But that's okay. That still makes for a nice picture. Let's add in. Actually, I prefer this. We don't really see too much near the top. We'll sneak a little line in there. It's right around this hallway that we start to see the actual tiles showing up. Now I know there is a way that you can like actually measure out to space these exactly how far apart you want. But it's been a long time since I did that. And I just gotten into the practice of going without so often that you can usually just eyeball it pretty well. I mean, I say that, but I'm really gotten pretty good at doing straight lines and such. Jacob, get back in the picture. Here, sit over here. Yeah. Ceiling. Here is a trick for you guys. Not a lot of people like to use it, but because it feels strange for them. Flip your paper upside down. No, these are definitely not all the same length. Yeah, that's definitely shorter. So, measuring's not going to help us out as much as we would like in this case. Okay. Okay, so let's do 2. That's pretty even. Let's do 2 1/4. Right there. And right there. And since the ceiling and the floor tiles tend to be the same process, it's going upside down. It's kind of a funny look now having the clock there, but since it's pretty much the same as doing floor tiles, it can be easier just to flip it upside down and do it, and then you don't have to worry about reaching across the entire paper to try and do everything. Although it now looks like I'm drawing a very strange floor. Let's just sneak one last one here. It's a little bigger than I want it to be. There we go. Just getting a little hint of this double line that's in here. Since this is a drop ceiling, it's got these little metal supports that go and hold all of the tiles in place. Barely there, hints of it down here. Okay. So that's got all of our main drawing detail. Let's work on some shading. I'd use my finger, but I like paper towel. It tends to smooth out the best. And we're gonna get rid of our vanishing point here now, since we don't really need to have that be quite as visible. Alright, so definitely the dark areas being our locks. Those are already pretty dark. And then our floor, which we've already started to add in. This here, so we can So pro tip, when you're doing shading, holding it near the end of it like this is good for small areas, especially things that should be a little bit darker. You get more control this way, and you can put more pressure on it. But if you're trying to do something a little bit lighter, move your hand further down your pencil. It does take practice getting used to, but you guys can start working on that now. I didn't really learn that trick until I got to college. It was a game changer. You can go faster. It lets you get a much bigger area than if you're holding it down near the tip. And it helps you keep things a little bit lighter. That's gonna be too much paper towel. Hello, Storm. Welcome to the stream. Hey. Now that I've already got some pencil lead on my paper towel, I can just go right into that. You just want to be careful when you're using paper towel and going over stuff. If you go too crazy with it, you start going all over the place. You end up losing a lot of your lines, so that's why I fold it. You get a better corner. Take it a little bit slower. funny, you can hear my chair squeaking. I'm a very still person when I'm working on a project. Usually I'm turning the paper every which way. It'd actually be pretty funny to watch between me doing the kind of art, just my stuff at home, versus when I'm doing demonstrations for students. So I have to be so kind of still when I'm presenting for them, because if I'm moving it all over the place, it's easy for them to lose track of what's happening. But I tell you what I've gotten pretty good at is actually being able to draw. Like drawing upside down and sideways. Because especially if I'm showing a student something new, and they're in their seat, and I'm just kind of walking around and helping out. If I draw it facing me, and I'm like across the table from them, it's harder to kind of really see what it is that I'm doing, because they have to kind of translate what they're seeing upside down to what they are then going to do. So I started practicing more and more, trying to do things upside down, sideways, just to try and make it a little bit easier for them to watch. And I've been doing it for so long now, of course, that, for some things, like drawing faces, drawing 3D objects, that kind of stuff I can do pretty easily, upside down, sideways, and all that. But my new students get so amazed and puzzled. How do you do that? It's practice. It's all practice. Wiley, social distance. It's funny how those kind of words that nobody really used, and now it's. I blame hashtags. I blame the Twitter. I blame the Twitters for hashtag social distancing, and then everyone just starts using that. Alright, that's our best approximation of that poster right there. To be a little bit darker right along this edge to help show that this is a separate hallway here. Okay. Same here. I'm going to have a darker ceiling. Shading something darker, so I'm holding it closer. Holding the pencil closer. Storm, what are those faces you're throwing up there in the chat? What are you trying to express? Shock? Shock and awe? has to be the fire alarm in the hallway here. Hard to see for sure. Roll off in here. There we go. That's good, and it's running into my camera arm here. Which is, you can just barely see it on the side here. So it's a little hard to see in the original picture, but the tiles do have this little speckling that's going on. Just gonna throw it in. At least up close, just a little bit of that. I actually went through a brief phase. I was really into pointillism stuff, and I did a couple different pieces of artwork where everything was dots. I like started off with a pencil, just kind of like outlined things a little bit, and then went in and started filling in everything with dots. I don't think I have any of those anymore, which is too bad. One or two that were pretty nice. Again, save your old artwork, guys. Someday you'll be like, man, I did that one thing one time. Remember that year I was in Michonne's class and I did that really cool thing and I wish I still had it. Let's throw in a little bent up here. I did it the wrong way. I'm so caught up in just doing it, I wasn't looking at the picture. Alright, going upside down again. Our ceiling, to make the lights look like they're showing up, we're going to have to do some shading around the lights. Let's see if I got scrap. There we go. More pro tips. Scribble with some scrap paper, rub it in with your paper towel, and get the shading on the paper towel. And then you're not trying to add it right onto your paper. Paper towel will make it a lot smoother too. So I've actually seen in some earlier student pictures where they will color in the lights. Like, this is the light, I'm going to color it in. But you're leaving these light. You're going to leave these light, guys. Proper way of creating a light source. Making everything else dark. Is it tougher? Yes. Does it look better? Yes. Wiley, hold on. You gotta wait a second. How are we gonna end the stream if we don't say goodbye to you?
No pictures.
That's gonna become our thing.
Come here. Come here.
He is. He's such a good boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it on here. Looks pretty good. So, original artwork. Original picture of a hallway. And here is my recreation. So usually, school-wise, you'd get about 3 or 4 days. I'd give you guys to work on it. This took me about 2 hours of just sitting solid. Oh, it looks dope. Thank you. So tomorrow, well, no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. Taking a break for the weekend. Next week, every weekday, planning on doing this again. So roughly 10 to 11 o'clock. You guys can come in and watch me work, and we'll probably get into some cartooning stuff next week. Unless you guys have any requests. So either send me a message, email, you can put it up on Google Classroom. This will eventually get posted over on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to see it there. So before we sign off, let's say goodbye to the puppies. They were much better today than they were yesterday, weren't they? I don't know if you want to be in on this.
Sure, that's fine. I'll say hi.
You guys get to meet my sister. Hi. That you've heard so many stories about. There's Wiley. He's a good boy. And Wesker's over here. Hi, Wesker. It's time for squirrel watch. Say the word squirrel. You guys see a squirrel? Where? You want to go get him? Get ready. They're off. All right, you guys take care. Be back on next week. Stay safe. Stay healthy.